Do you need guides, mentors, and coaches? 3 years ago, 21 of us descend into the Rocky Mountains. Our goal was to get to the top of the most difficult, non-technical climb in America, Long's Peak. Some of you probably hiked that mountain. There's all of us there, the 21 are ages 18 to 58. We're just regular folks, you know, blue collar, white collar, no collar. We're accountants, lawyers, doctors, business owners, and students. A good mix. So that day, the goal was to be heroes as we defined it. You know, we, in our lives, something hiking a mountain like that is heroic, right? That's as high as we can go. You guys get to experience that to some degree every day. And as we defined it, it was becoming someone you admire for an outstanding achievement, you know, engaging courage and humility. So that was the goal, get to the top of the mountain. 55 degrees, slightly overcast, no rain in sight, except there were 70-mile-an-hour winds on the mountain. In some places, 90 miles an hour. That's Cat 2, Category 2 in a hurricane. It was dangerous. A lot of people outside of our group said, we're not even going to go out. But hey, we've hiked mountains like this before. What could go wrong? We head out. We get to a place called Keyhole. See if we've got a photo there. Hey, there we go. Tools are helpful. Thank you. This is Long's Peak, and this is Keyhole. The wind's coming through there, like I said, 90 miles an hour. Look at this photo. I'm holding a flag in the red and white stripes, and it's about to break at that point, right side of Keyhole. We heard so many horror stories as a group, we decided not to go the 1/3 remaining part of the mountain. Okay? Failed mission, in other words. Distressing. We hiked back down. I don't know about you guys, but I'm competitive. I wanted to go up. So 3 of us actually did sneak over and went up. What happened to all for one and one for all, as the rest of the group said, when we finally did get to the top, came back down, we went from heroes, 3 of us, to the other 18, zeros. That felt bad. So we decided, let's come back next year. And everybody said, we're going to do it. We want to hike to the summit. But we were going to change one thing. And when we did come back the next year, we did change that one thing. So what about you guys? What mountain are you climbing? What mountain do you want to climb? Is it your career? And it's how do I level up to the next position or few positions? Is it a personal challenge that you're trying to overcome? Something with resiliency, you know, where you're struggling with maybe it's depression or fear or anxiety, and that's going to be your mountain to climb. Is it something outside of work or your next career? I want to give you a secret. I've interviewed, met with, conversed with over 10,000 people in my work, 100,000 conversations, and there's one thing in common with every single person. To the degree they are more successful, more impactful, and happier, is to the same degree they have guides, mentors, and coaches in their life. In fact, if I asked you, how did you get here today? I bet every person would be able to tell me at least one, if not a dozen people that helped you. You may not even be aware because it's your life, you just think it's normal, but I bet there was a guide, a mentor, or a coach, or a bunch of them helping you. So the same is true at the bottom. The unhappy people have no guides, mentors, coaches, or they are toxic. So I'm making a pitch to you guys that you need to get guides, mentors, coaches in your life for the first time or to level them up so you can achieve more in your one and only life. If you want to take a quick flyby, Hollywood, your favorite movie, my favorite movie, think about what it is. I'll bet you there's a hero in there. And behind that hero, I bet there's a guide. Prove me wrong. I'd be okay with it. Think for a minute, Star Wars, right? Luke Skywalker, hero. Yoda, guide. Even Harry Potter. He had a bunch of guides. Hagrid, Snape, Dumbledore. But in the real world, one of my favorite heroes, Martin Luther King Jr., he had a bunch of support around him. A bunch of support to get where he was able to have heroic impact. So how about you guys? I want to give you a test. It's called the Rule of 5. Now I'm going to make you think here for a minute. Who are the 5 people that you do life with the most? Think about who they are. Daily basis. They're your friends. They're your coworkers, maybe neighbors. Could be a family member. Think of their relational status. If you're hanging out with 5 people that are on the edge of relationship breakdown or divorce or whatever you want to call it, I bet you're headed there. Watch the circle of influence that you have. As the saying goes, we are a product of the people we surround ourselves with. Have you heard that? So if you want to really drive it home, think of income. This is kindergarten math. Predict what your 5 closest friends make. You can do it. Add it up, divide by 5. This is my finance degree from college finally come into play. And I bet you end up with your income. See that little trick there? Try it. Try it out. So if you want to change your station in life or your happiness, your resiliency, whatever you want to improve on, change your circle of influence. So what holds us back? There's 2 primary things I want to suggest. You've got comfort and or bravado. Those are both problems in my opinion. Comfort says, I'm fine, don't worry about me. Go, someone else needs the help. I don't need any people. I got no people. And then bravado, this may come as a shock, bravado is bravery gone too big. There's a place for it, but to live that way is basically saying this: I want to do it on my own. I want no help from you. But what I'm saying is, we can't do it alone. I'm saying you can't do it alone. I'm saying you haven't done it alone. And if you want to make yourself more heroic, get better people. A little slice into my life, I grew up in a broken home, and I pretty much had to live off the land and fend for myself in a lot of ways. Our father raised us, our mother abandoned. And it was one of those situations where I don't know how I did, but I got through school, and then I got married, and I was not a good husband. I'm not proud of that. And then I got a job. I did pretty well at the job. I got a few promotions, and then I didn't have mentors around anymore, so I topped out. So I was fearing getting fired, and I was fearing my marriage not working. Then I find out we're pregnant. Oh, man, I'm going to be a bad dad, too. That's 3 things. And if you guys ever gotten to this place where anxiety just overtook who I was, this brave, I want to do it myself guy checked himself in to a clinic, into a hospital. I thought I was having a heart attack in my 20s. I was like, what is wrong with me? This is not who I am. But I knew I needed to get help. I didn't tell anyone about it. I just checked in. I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. I hooked up all these wires, and about 2 hours later, they came to me and said, Mr. Christiansen, at 20-whatever years old, you're fine. How can I be fine? They give me a prescription and a book. I'm like, a book? What's a book going to do for me? So I get in my car. Like, I didn't want to do the prescription. Yes, I read the book. And in the book, it said, you need people. You need people. And I'm thinking, man, since the rugby team in college, I haven't had people for like 5 years. I have my wife, but I wasn't doing great with that. So I got in a group. I found a group, and I've found dozens of these ever since. They're out there. There's 7.7 billion people in the world. There are a lot of guides. There are very few heroes. Lots of guides to pick from. And I got in this group, and they helped me get my confidence up. They helped me get clear on my career. I became a good husband. I became a good father. I became a better leader at work. So wherever you are, you can get better. And if you're better, you can get great. So here's how you do it. 3 steps. Courage, humility, and intentionality. CHI, the abbreviation of Chicago. Courage is basically saying, I am going to make a decision. Do you know we make 35,000 decisions a day? 200 just for food. Leaders make decisions. So I want you to decide right now, do you believe this guy on stage and are you going to do what I'm asking you to do, or are you going to say no? And it's okay if you say no. I'm encouraging you to make a decision. I'd rather you decide to do it, not do it. But make a decision. That's courage. Humility is saying, I am going to open myself up. It's going to be okay, and I'm coachable. I will learn. I will get a personal board of directors around me. I will get mentors around me. And at some point, maybe I'll go be that for someone else. So I want to give you this. The third step is intentionality. This is the most important one, right? Everything is about being intentional. And if you're intentional about everything, you're intentional about nothing, right? The word priority is singular, not plural. Think about that. Intentionality is being deliberate. Be wildly intentional. I want to give you 3 D tips on that. Letter D. First is develop a dream team list. 5 people. You can create 50, but I want to encourage you to make a list of 5 people. Write them down. These are people. The second D, dial or direct message. I'm going to get in touch with them. Hey, I've admired you from a distance. I'd love to grab a conversation with you. Okay. Or I don't think I'm that qualified. Well, can you just tell me the things you've failed at? Because I really do think I have something to learn from you. Don't take no for an answer. If these are people you respect, get with them. At all means, get with them. And then the third one, dialogue. When you get in person or on the phone with them, ask them powerful questions, right? Powerful questions are, tell me your story. And then listen, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use them proportionately. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen most of the time. Don't talk. At the end, just say thank you. Here's what I got from you. And that's a great dialogue conversation. I've got a sheet in there back on the table if you want to get them. It gives you these powerful questions. Right there. That's what it looks like. And it just guides you through how do you have one of those conversations? Because that's mainly what everybody fears. Well, what do I do when we sit down for coffee? And if you're an introvert, half this room is introverted, half is extroverted. That just means you get your energy from being alone. I want to give you an out. You can read an author and listen to everything they say, and that can be your out. But I'm going to challenge you at the end of it. Go to the back of the book, contact information, just reach out to them. Say, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Hey, I'm going to be in your city in a month. Can we meet? I've done this a dozen times, and I've got 7 people. 7 out of 12 have said yes. It can be done, and you can do it. So those are the 3 steps. Amongst the 3 steps, being intentional is the most important thing. And the dialogue. And here's what I'm asking you to do. 1 conversation with 1 person, 1 time. Don't go for the lifelong mentor unless you can nail that. You're golden. 1 conversation, 1 person, 1 time. So what happened on the mountain year 2? How do you think we did? And what's the one thing we did different? We put guides in our group that we didn't have the year before. We just kind of randomly went up the mountain because we've done it in the past and it worked. Well, this mountain was technical and it was difficult and it was strenuous. These are some of the cliffs. And this is what I was scared of. And I was kind of excited the first year when we decided to go down and not go to this part. Because you fall over here, you better hope you have life insurance. And we had 3 groups, and this was the final ascent. I was in the back group because I said, hey, I'm going to support. I made it up the year before, and we shouldn't have gone up, and I felt bad, so I'm going to go in the back, and I'm going to do what I can here. And if somebody needs to go down, as hard as that will be for me not to go up again, I will go back down with them. And, humility, right? At least you try your best. And this was the final ascent. Looks kind of steep, huh? But I tell you what, we pushed, we encouraged, we coached, we mentored these guys, we supported, and we got there. This was the picture on the right from the top. Everybody kind of got discombobulated, so we didn't get a whole group shot because some people were really fast and other people were slow. This group at the end, we basically started in the dark and we ended in the dark. But my point is how much more successful we were with the guides, the mentors, the coaches. We leveled up. So in closing, I want to encourage you guys to do one of two things. You can do nothing. And again, I support that decision. But you need to know, what do you gain to risk or lose? Bottom line, if you change nothing, then nothing changes. You know that. But if you accept this challenge, I guarantee you, you will level up your degree of happiness, impact, success in your adventure, your journey, and your life. Thank you.